Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. These are the outlines of this lesson. In this lesson, we will study about the automorphisms and conjugate elements. In fact, we will study an important relationship between the conjugate elements and the automorphisms. After this, we will study the Galois extension and Galois group, and at the end, we will determine the Galois group of a finite field Fq power m over the field Fq. So we start from this definition. An isomorphism sigma from a field L to itself is called an automorphism of L. And the collection of all automorphisms of a field L is denoted by this symbol. Moreover, if K is a subfield of a field L, then an automorphism sigma of L is said to be an automorphism of L over K if it fixes the subfield K. That is sigma of x equal to x for all x belongs to K. It means that whenever we have some automorphism of a field L, and if this automorphism fixes any subfield K of L, then we say that this sigma is an automorphism of L over the field K. Here are some easy remarks. Every field has at least one automorphism. That is the identity map, denoted by this symbol and is also known as trivial automorphism. Moreover, any automorphism of a field L fixes its prime subfield. Hence, in particular, we conclude that set of all automorphisms of Q consists of a single mapping, that is the identity mapping. Also, the set of all automorphisms of a finite field Fp consists of a single element, that is the identity mapping. So this is because every automorphism maps 1 to 1 and 0 to 0. Therefore, the prime subfield, which is generated by 1, will be fixed by any automorphism. Hence, if in case of Q and Fp, the automorphism will be the only identity automorphism. And here are some other definitions. Let K be a subfield of a field L. We denote by this symbol auto of L over K the collection of all automorphisms of L over the field K. That is, this set consists of all automorphisms of L which fix the subfield K. Obviously, the set of all automorphisms of L over K is contained in this set, and these both the sets will be equal if and only if this subfield K is a prime subfield. As we have remarked here in the previous slide that any automorphism fixes the prime subfield. Therefore, if K is a prime subfield, then it will be fixed by every automorphism. Therefore, these two sets will be same. And here is a basic theorem that the set of all automorphisms of any field L is a group under the operation composition of mappings. And therefore, this set is a subgroup of this group. That is, if we collect all the automorphisms of any field L, then this collection of all automorphism will form a group under composition of mappings, and this set which consists of all automorphisms of L over K is in fact a subgroup of this group. And this is very important theorem of this lecture. Let K be a subfield of a field L and Fp any polynomial with coefficients in the field K, and theta is any arbitrary element in the field L. This theorem says that if theta is a root of this polynomial f, then sigma of theta is also a root of the same polynomial. And for all sigma belongs to set of all automorphisms of L over K. Again, see, let K be a subfield of a field L and F be any polynomial with coefficients in K, and theta is any element in the field L. Then if theta is a root of this polynomial f, then sigma of theta will also be a root of the same polynomial for all sigma belongs to this set. What is this set? This is the set of all automorphisms of L which fix the field K. That is the set of all automorphisms of L over the field K. So now see the proof of this theorem. Suppose we have this polynomial with coefficients in the field K. Also suppose that theta is a root of this polynomial f. We have to show that for each automorphism of L over case, if we apply that automorphism on this element theta, the image of this element will also be a root of this element, this polynomial f. And because theta is a root of this polynomial, therefore if we put theta in this polynomial, we get 0. And now if we take any automorphism of L over K, that means sigma is an automorphism of L which fix the elements of K. If we apply this automorphism on both sides of this equation, we get this. And in the next step, note that sigma is an automorphism. So we can perform this step because sigma is an automorphism of field. And this automorphism will preserve addition and multiplication. And by using the property of automorphism, we get this step. Sigma of 0 equals to 0. And in the next step, we apply here this automorphism. And we get this step. And because sigma fix the elements of K, and this an is an element of K, therefore sigma of an equals to an, and sigma of theta will become sigma of theta whole power n, and so on. In all terms this will happen, and from this we can easily see that sigma of theta becomes the root of this polynomial. And here important thing is that sigma keep fix the elements of K, therefore at this stage sigma of an equals to an, sigma of an minus 1 equals to an minus 1, sigma of a1 equals to a1, and so on. So we can easily prove that if any element theta belong from the field L is a root of some polynomial f, then sigma of theta is also a root of the same polynomial. And here what is sigma? Sigma is an automorphism of L over the field K. So from this theorem, we conclude that if K is a subfield of a field L and if theta is algebraic over the field K, then sigma of theta is a conjugate of this algebraic element theta for each automorphism of L over the field K. This is because if theta is algebraic, then theta is root of some polynomial, some non-zero polynomial, and from the previous theorem, then sigma of theta will also be the root of the same polynomial. And if two elements are roots of the same monic polynomial, then they are conjugates. If theta is algebraic over the field K, then by definition, theta has some monic polynomial. And theta is root of that monic polynomial, minimal polynomial. And by previous theorem, sigma of theta will also be the root of same minimal polynomial. Hence, by definition, the both elements will be conjugates. And this is for all automorphisms of L over the field K. So, it is remarkable that if sigma is an automorphism of L over the field K, then this mapping permutes the roots in L of the minimal polynomial of any algebraic element theta over K. And if we apply sigma to the set of all the roots of any minimal polynomial of some algebraic elements, And this sigma will be in fact a permutation of this sigma will be in fact a permutation of the set of all roots of this monic polynomial, because these roots are all conjugates of this element theta. Therefore, by this previous corollary, if if sigma is just a permutation of the set of all roots of this algebraic element theta, and if this is a normal field extension, then sigma is a permutation of this set which consists of all elements which are conjugate to theta. So what is the use of normal here? Because if we have normal field extension, then all the elements in case of normal field extension, all the roots of minimal polynomial lies in this field theta. That's why in this case this set which consists of all elements all conjugate elements of theta, it will be inside this field L if this is a normal field extension. And in case of finite fields, this is obviously true, because in finite fields we see that all the roots, all the conjugates belongs to this field. Therefore, in case of finite fields, there is no problem for this condition. This condition will be automatically satisfied. But in general, if this is not normal field extension, then maybe some root of minimal polynomial maybe lies outside of this field L. But here, if this is a normal field extension, or in particular, if these are the finite fields, then this any automorphism of L over the field K is a permutation of this set of all elements which are conjugate of theta. Now, let us observe something in this example. How we use the connection between automorphisms and conjugates. We have just learned that if we have some root if we have some algebraic element over the field K, then if we apply sigma any automorphism of L over K on this set, the resulting element will be a conjugate of this element. And therefore, in case of therefore, in case of normal extension, that is, if all the conjugates are inside the field L, then this automorphism is in fact the permutation of this set of all conjugates of theta. Here in this example, we will determine all the automorphisms of this field q square root of theta over the field q. And we take an arbitrary automorphism. Let tau be an automorphism of q square root of theta over the field q. And due to the starting remark, you know that here we have remarked that if K is a prime subfield of the field L, here this is not F, this is L. If K is a prime subfield of L, then these both sets are the same, and therefore here because Q is a prime subfield of this field, therefore automorphisms of this field over the Q are the same as automorphisms of this field. So we take an arbitrary automorphism from this set. Then if we take in this automorphism, because this is automorphism, if we apply this automorphism on some element A plus B square root of 2, so we will get tau of A plus tau of B and tau of square root 2. But this automorphism fix the elements of Q. Therefore, we'll get A plus B tau square root of 2 for all A plus B square root of 2 belongs to this field. From here, we observe that this mapping is completely described by the image of this element square root of 2. If we know the image of square root of 2, we can define all the automorphisms. So note that minimal polynomial of this element over the field Q is this one. And so it has two conjugates, square root 2 and minus square root of 2. So it means we know from the previous discussion that the tau of some algebraic element You see tau of some algebraic element is a permutation of this set of conjugates. So here this tau of square root of 2 will be belongs to this set. In fact, this is a one permutation. This is a permutation of this set. So hence, this implies that either it is identity permutation, either it maps square root 2 to itself, or it maps square root 2 to minus square root of 2. Hence, we have two choices for the image of square root of 2. Either it maps to itself or it maps to negative of this element. In the first case, if we use here star square root of 2 equals to this one, we get identity mapping, and in the second case we get this mapping. So we see that and also we can prove that the mapping defined in this way is actually an automorphism of this field. So hence we conclude that the set of all automorphisms of this field over Q consists of only two mappings. One is identity mapping and the other mapping is defined by this rule. And we can observe that this is a cyclic group of order 2 generated by this mapping sigma. Because if we take square of this mapping sigma, we get identity mapping. Now see another example. If we take this field Q extended in cube root of cube Q extended in cube root of 2 over the field Q, then as we know that the element of this field can be described in this way. If we apply this automorphism tau, then by the property of automorphism, we see that tau can be performed in this way because tau fix the elements of Q, so we get this one. So from this equation, we observe that tau is completely described by the image of cube root of 2. And note that the minimal polynomial of cube root of 2 is x cube minus 2. So it has three roots, but unfortunately one of its root belongs to this field, but other two roots does not belong to this field because other two roots become complex. And hence here, because this field extension is not normal, if field extension is not normal, then this set does not contain in the field L. It may be outside of L. So in that case, we have to be careful. So here we have only one choice because only one root, we have only one root inside the field here, sorry. So here we have to find the choices for image of cube root of 2, and the conjugates of cube root of 2 are three elements, but two elements are outside of this field. There is only one element in one conjugate of this element inside this field, that is the element itself. So this implies that we have only one choice for the image of this, and that is cube root of 2, and hence this mapping is identity mapping. We conclude that set of all automorphisms of this field over the field Q is consists of only the identity mapping. So in these two examples, we note that the degree of field extension is 2, and we get two elements in this group of automorphisms. And here the degree of field extension is 3, but we have only one element in this set of automorphisms. So the first example, this type of field extensions are named as Galois extensions. In Galois extension are those algebraic extensions in which the degree of the field extension is the same as the cardinality of the set of all automorphisms of L over K. So in this case, and if we collect all these automorphisms, this group is called the Galois group of L over K. In these two examples, in the first example, this field extension Q contained in Q square root of 2 is a Galois extension, and this group is a Galois group of Q square root of 2 over the field Q, but this is not a Galois extension. So if extension is not Galois extension, we cannot talk about the Galois group. So now again see the definition. Let K be a subfield of be a finite field extension, and here we must have finite field extension. In these two examples, both are finite field extension. First is a field extension of degree 2 and second is a field extension of degree 3. Again see, let K subset of L be a finite field extension. Then L is said to be Galois over K, and this field extension is named as Galois extension if the degree of this field extension is equals to the order of this group of all automorphisms of L over K. And if if this is Galois extension, then this group is named as Galois group of L over K. In the previous example, this is Galois extension and this group is a cyclic group of order 2. This is denoted by this symbol. This symbol denotes that set of all automorphisms of L over K. This is called Galois group of L over K. And Galois group is only defined for Galois extension. In this case, what is mean by Galois extension? Galois extension means the degree of field extension is exactly equals to the cardinality of this set. That is the set of all automorphisms of L over the field K. So here in this field extension is a Galois extension, but this is not Galois extension. So in this case, the group of automorphism is called Galois group of automorphism and is denoted by this symbol, and is in fact a cyclic group of order 2 we have seen in the previous example. So now please come to this example of the finite fields. Now we observe what happened in case of finite fields. In finite fields, we have a plus point. What is the plus point? We know that all the conjugates of any element, that is, in case of finite fields, for instance, if we take any two finite field, let's say FQ is contained in FR, and we know that if we take any element, let's say theta belongs to the bigger field, then we know all its conjugates also belongs to this field. So we are sure that all the elements, all the conjugates of an algebraic element belongs to the field itself. In the previous lesson we learned this. We see a theorem that all the conjugates belongs to this field. So this is a plus point in finite fields, and also the field extensions of finite fields is always a finite field extension. It must have a finite degree. So here, in this example, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to find all the automorphisms of F8 over the field F2. That is, we want to find all the automorphisms from F8 which fix the field F2, and we know that every automorphism from this remark, we know that every automorphism fix its prime subfield. Therefore here this is a prime subfield F2. Therefore each automorphism in this set will fix this. That's why both the sets will be same. In general, if the ground field is not prime field, and then in general we have this connection. This is a subgroup of this. But if this is a prime subfield, F2, then in this case both the sets are same. Anyhow, we take an automorphism of F8 over the field F2. That means tau fix the elements of F2. And now we have a plus point in case of finite fields, that we have primitive element. We can describe each element in the power of primitive element. We fix some primitive element theta in F8, then F8 will be equals to 0 union the group generated by this element theta, and this is equals to 0, 1, theta square up to theta power 6, where theta power 7 equals to 1. So here observe that if we know the image of theta, we can easily compute the image of theta squared, theta cube, theta 4, and so on, because here tau is an automorphism. If we know what is the image of theta, let's say if image of theta is, let's say, t, then we can easily find image of theta square. That is, image of theta square will be equals to tau of theta. This is equals to tau of theta whole square. So if we put this value here, we can find, similarly we can find the image of all the powers of theta. So it is clear that if we know the image of theta, we can find the image of every element under this mapping. Hence, this automorphism is completely described by the image of theta. And now, as we did in the previous example, we will find the choices for the image of theta. Note that f8 can be written as f2 extended in theta, because we know that every primitive element of the bigger field can be taken as a defining element over the smaller field. In some lesson we learned this, that whenever we have some field extension, we know that whenever we have some field extension, let's say fq contained in fr, and if we take any primitive element here, so we can write fr equals to fq extended in this primitive element theta. We know this result in some theorem, that every primitive element can be taken as a defining element for some field. So we fix some primitive element theta, and we write f8 as f2 extended in theta. And so the degree of theta will be, because order of the group is 8, so degree of theta must be 3. That is, and degree of theta is actually the degree of this field extension, and it will be 3. So it means from the previous theory, all the results that we know, we one thing is sure, that the conjugates of theta, the set of all conjugates of theta will have cardinality 3, because the degree of theta is 3. And also because we know that how to find the conjugates of an element theta over the field f2. If theta is algebraic, its conjugate is, we have to take powers of theta over the field f2. So other conjugates will be L theta, theta square, and theta 4, and we will stop at theta power 4, because if we go ahead we will again get repetition. So we get three conjugates of theta in this set. This is from in previous lessons theorem. We know that if we take an element theta over the field f2, what are its conjugate? We take the powers of theta. We take theta, then theta power 2, then again theta power 2 square, then theta power 2 cube, and so on. So in this way we get that these are three conjugates of theta. Hence image of theta will be from this set. So tau is one permutation, is any one permutation of this set of all conjugates of theta. So, but we have to find only the image of theta. So we have three choices for the image of theta. Either this is equals to theta square, or theta power 4. This implies tau of theta equals to theta, tau of theta equals to theta square, or tau of theta equals to theta power 4. We have three choices for the image of theta. And this implies in the first choice, if we put tau of theta equals to theta, we will get identity mapping. This tau is defined by, if tau of theta equals to theta square, then by using because theta is the primitive element, so if theta maps to theta square, then theta square maps to theta 4, theta cube maps to theta 6, so we get this mapping. And if theta maps to theta 4, then each element will maps to its power 4 for all x belongs to f8. So in this way we have three mapping: identity mapping, the mapping defined by this rule, each element maps to its square, and mapping defined by this rule, each element maps to its power 4. And we can also verify that mappings defined by this rule are also automorphisms of f theta. An important thing is that these mapping keeps the elements of f2 as a fix. That is, if we apply this mappings to the elements of F2. F2 have only two elements, 0 maps to 0 obviously and 1 maps to 1. So these mappings are, we can prove that these mappings are automorphisms of the field F8, and also they keep the elements of F2 as a fix. So therefore these are the automorphisms of F8 over F4, F8 over F2, and hence we conclude that this set, this symbol denote the set of all automorphisms of F8 over F2, and it is by chance equals to this set, and from the above calculation we know that this set consists of three mappings, that is identity mapping, the mapping sigma 1 and sigma 2, where sigma 1 of x equals to x power 2 and sigma 2 of x means sigma 2 of x equals to x power 4. So we have three defining rule for the automorphisms of F8 over the field F2. Also, so we find all the automorphisms of the field F8 over the field F2. We suppose that tau is an automorphism, and then we reach at the situation where we have to decide the image of theta, and from the previous theorem we know that tau of theta must be, if tau is automorphism, then tau of theta must be some conjugate of theta, and we have only three choices for the conjugate of theta, so we have three mappings. And important thing is that these are, if we take these mappings, these are actually the automorphisms of F8. So hence these are the only mappings which are automorphisms of F8 over F2. And moreover, note that the degree of field extension is also 3. So therefore by this definition, therefore by this definition, this extension is Galois extension, because degree of field extension is equals to the degree of equals to the order of this group. Hence, we conclude that the Galois group of F8 over the field F2 is this one, which is a cyclic group of order 3, because this group can be generated by sigma 1 square mean sigma 2 and sigma 1 cube mean identity mapping. And now see another example. In this field, in this example, we will find the group of all automorphisms of F16 over the field F4. Now we change, in the previous example we take F8 over F2, but now in this example we will take F16 over F4. Now note that in the previous example this field was a prime subfield F2, but now in this example this is not prime subfield. So here we will not have equality like in the previous example. Anyhow, our purpose in this example is to see what is the group of automorphisms of F16 over F4. So in the similar fashion as in the previous example, we fix a primitive element theta in F16, then F16 can be written in this way and F4 can be written in this way. So tau is completely described by the image of theta. Note that F16 can be written as F4 extended in this primitive element theta, and therefore degree of theta is equals to 2. Hence we are sure that there will be two elements in the set of conjugates, and the conjugates will be given by one element is theta itself, another is theta power up to this element 4. So we get that we have only two choices for the image of theta, if that is theta tau of theta equals to theta, or tau of theta equals to theta power 4. So in the first case, if tau of theta equals to theta, then this mapping will be identity mapping, and in the second case, the mapping will be defined by x maps to x power 4 for all x belongs to F16. Also, we can verify that this mapping is actually an automorphism of F16 by proving that this satisfies the condition of automorphism, and this is important that we can prove that this mapping, if we define some mapping by this rule, sigma f of x equal to x power 4, so we can prove that this mapping f from F16 to to F16, we can prove that this mapping is actually an automorphism, and also we can check that this element fix the elements of F4. For instance, if we note that what are the elements of F4? See, the elements of F4 are 0, 1, theta power 5 and theta power 10. So let us make experiment. If we apply F on theta power 5, obviously f of 0 is 0, f of 1 is 1, but if we apply this we get theta power 20. And after, because theta power 15 is 1, we will get this. Similarly, if we apply f on f of theta power, let's say 10, then we get theta power 40, and we know that theta power 30 is 1, so we get same. So we see that this mapping f will fix all the elements of f4. So hence we can verify that this is an automorphism of f16 over the field f4, because this mapping fix the elements of f4. So we obtain that this is the set of all automorphisms of f16 over the field f4. And also note that degree of field extension is also 2, so they are the cardinality of this set is equals to a degree. Hence this is a Galois extension, and this group will be named as Galois group of f16 over f4, and this is a cyclic group of order 2. Now this is the main theorem of this lesson, the last theorem. In this lesson we will do the same process as we did in example, but in general. This theorem says that whenever we have two finite fields, let's say fq contained in fq power m, then the Galois group of fq power m over fq is given by these mappings: sigma 0, sigma 1 up to sigma m minus 1, and this set has cardinality equals to m, that is the degree of this field extension, and this is a cyclic group of order n. And these mappings are defined by this rule, that it's sigma 0 of x equal to x power, sigma 0 of x equal to x, sigma 1 of x equal to x power q, sigma 2 of x equal to x power q power 2, and so on. So these are distinct mappings. So we have to prove, and the proof is entirely the same as in the previous examples we have seen. In the same fashion we will prove this theorem. So we start the proof. So we take, let tau be an automorphism of fq power m over the field fq. It means tau is an automorphism from this field to itself, and tau fix the elements of fq. As in the previous example, we fix an primitive element theta in this field, then fq power n can be written in this way. Tau is completely described by the image of theta. Note that fq power m equals to fq extended in theta, so degree of theta is m. So this set of conjugates will consist of m elements given by this set. This implies that we have total m choices for the image of theta. Either tau of theta is theta, tau of theta is theta power q, and so on. So this implies that theta is a primitive element. If we know the image of theta, we can find the image of all the elements. Therefore, these are the choices for theta. If tau of theta equals to theta, then tau is identity mapping. If theta maps to this element, then in general every element x will maps to x power q, and so on. So we can also verify that, as in the previous examples we did, that these mappings are actually the automorphisms of this field, and these are mappings fix the elements of fq. Hence we obtain that this set of all automorphisms of fq power m over fq consist of these mappings, where this is the defining rule of these mappings. And note here that the degree of the field extension is m, therefore this is a Galois extension, and here hence the Galois group is given by this set, which are all the automorphisms. And what is the defining rule of sigma I? Sigma I is defined by this rule, And note also that sigma 1 power k means sigma 1 composition up to sigma 1 k times, and it will be equals to sigma k, and if we take sigma 1 power m we will get identity mapping. Hence we observe that this group can be generated by sigma 1, and hence it is a cyclic group of order m. So in this theorem we prove that the Galois group of fq power m over the field fq is consist of these mappings. And what is the defining rule of these mappings? This is given here. Sigma 0 is identity mapping, sigma 1 of x equal to x power q, and so on. And, so what is the Galois group of fq power m over fq? Means set of all automorphisms of fq power m over fq. And in case of finite fields, each field extension is always a Galois extension, because in each time you observe that in the previous examples also, in case of finite fields, always the degree of field extension is equals to the cardinality of this group. Therefore, in case of finite fields, every field extension is Galois extension, and the group of all automorphisms of FQM over FQ is named as Galois group of FQ power M over FQ. so, so these are the references here, and these are the references here, and thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.